Afternoon Express. Now today is officially International Pancake Day, and what better way to celebrate the whole week dedicated to this versatile delight. Today we're going to be making Clover Gouda cheese pancake lasagna. Yes, you heard it, lasagna. This is usually made with wide flat pasta, but we've decided to switch it up and use the good old pancake instead. Now today you are truly flipping me over, truly by opening up my mind as to how we can play with the pancake. And now we're making
a lasagna.
A lasagna.
Pancake. I mean, why not?
I love that. I love that. And it's just another way to show how to use it. And, you know, we also sometimes don't have all of the equipment or ingredients at our disposal. I mean, girl, I'm trying to save some money. So, I mean, who has time to go out to the shops to get lasagna sheets? Pancakes are made using staples in our pantry. Why not use them for lasagna?
Stunning. And something else that sometimes you just don't have the time for is creating that delicious but hard work, that cheese sauce.
Yo, where every time you have to make a sauce, you are here. I'm like, sometimes it's a good thing to just go to the store, get a ready-made white sauce, and then what do you do after that? Add your flavors to it. Add whatever you want to it. Add your cheese, add whatever you'd like to it. But Chef, you're going to get started with the base for us, right?
I'm going to get started on the base. I've already rendered out my bacon. And you can see I've got some lovely, luscious bacon fat in my pan. I'm going to go in with my onions, as well as my garlic. Saute that up, get them nice and coated in the juicy oil.
Chef, a lot of people don't know when is it time to add the rest of the ingredients, especially to sauteed onions. Do you sweat down the onions? Do you wait for them to brown? Or do you still just throw everything in when it's crispy? Or does it even matter?
So I would say it depends on the dish. Earlier, I don't know if you noticed, but Chef Tumi's onions were nice, deeply caramelized, and sometimes you need that flavor. I think for a lasagna, because it cooks for such a long time, the base of the sauce, you can actually just wait for the onions to get translucent and then start incorporating your other ingredients.
Got you. Okay, so whilst we are doing that, waiting for the onions to become translucent, Tumi, you got my favorite ingredient, cheese.
Yeah, but I've got your favorite ingredient. I've got some cheese that we've added in here. In the white sauce that we store-bought sauce, I've added some nutmeg in there just for a touch of flavor. And then we're going in with our Clover Gouda cheese that's basically going to turn this white sauce into the cheese sauce that we're talking about. And I mean, if you're looking for elite texture, elite taste, elite quality, then you should definitely use Clover cheese. You could even use a different kind of cheese. You could even use the fetas if you want to. That would be perfect because it adds a touch of a saltiness to this that you need, meaning you don't have to add any additional salt to the actual sauce itself. And then another twist we're adding is we're adding some of our mustard into this. We're adding whole grain mustard into our sauce. And yes, I spoke about the Clover cheese. Right now, we've got the full cream, semi-hard elite Gouda cheese that you could use here. You could even use the cheddar if you want. Like I said, you could use the elite, the feta, and you could even go with the one that has herbs in it because you know it's already got the flavors in there.
And that's also quite staple to Italian cuisine.
Correct.
That herby flavor. I mean, the Clover cheese is perfectly crafted due to that 5-step crafting process to give it the eliteness we love to celebrate so much. You added also, to me, some mustard, whole grain mustard into that. Now, I've never added whole grain mustard to a cheese sauce.
It's because it adds the touch of tanginess that you need in the sauce. Remember, there's going to be a balancing of flavors here. You've got your sweetness that comes from your onions. You've got the saltiness that's going to come from the sauce. And then the tongue, it's always about making sure you hit all those flavors on your palate. The salty, sweet, bitter as you eat. That's what makes food so much more enjoyable. You don't just want to taste salt. You know, so it is important to release the juices in your mouth as you enjoy the dish.
It truly is a sensory experience.
Correct.
Not only are we just enjoying the flavors, but we need to hear the little sizzling on the pan. We're smelling the aromas. And already here on the mince station, you're doing so incredibly well. What have you added to your pan so far?
So I've added some beautiful aromatics. We've got beautiful bay leaves. We've got some thyme. And to that, I've also added some tomato paste just to give that richness. And I think it will pair quite nicely with the cheese.
Now, something that I beef a lot on, excuse the pan. No, I beef sometimes with people's lasagnas and their mince. The strong acidic punch that tomatoes can give you. Not a lot of people cook down the tomatoes enough. How long would you give someone to have the tomatoes on the pan cooking down? Is it like a 1 hour thing, 30-minute thing, or is it like a 4-hour process?
If the Italians are listening to me, they'd want to make sure I justify it and say at least an hour, minimum an hour, because you want the beef to break down. You want the juices from the tomato to break down. I'd want to touch on the fact that you could add some sugar in there, because that's how we would do it, but they would say to me, no, you don't even do that, because once you let it cook down, the natural sweetness from the tomatoes and the onions plays a part there and gives you that delicious sauce that you're looking for.
I would say it's just about adding layers. You know, you've got to develop those layers. But again, are we still saying ain't nobody got time for that?
Yes, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm saying that.
You know how many times I've made spaghetti bolognese and I've used that mince base to actually, you know, to actually develop that flavor, actually using my lasagna.
Yeah.
So the last step is just to add your tinned tomatoes, and you're going to let that simmer down until it gets to a nice paste-like consistency.
Yeah.
And thanks for helping me out, girl. Now it's time for the important part to stack them up. So again, make your pancakes ahead of time, freeze them, they're ready to go. A beautiful base to soak up all of that flavor. So you're gonna hit your base with some of those pancakes.
Okay.
You've got your mince mixture, you've got to spread that on.
Actually, I kind of did it in a weird way. Some people like to put the mince and the sauce at the bottom, just so that when they do cut open the lasagna, it's easier to scoop up. Does it matter? Can we just start with the pancake for the first layer?
I'm like you, Pali. I like to have the layer of the pasta or the pancake at the bottom, so it's easier to scoop up as well.
Yep.
And you can see what's really cool, Pali, is the one that we've got over there. We baked it in a round dish, which just makes it easier because of the size of the pancakes. But I've got a square baking dish here,
Also
and you can
nice.
see they actually fit quite nicely. It also creates that texture because the little bits that stick out will burn a little bit, get a bit crispier, and so it's really such an easy thing to put together.
Well, I'm thanking you both. You just gave me the most outstanding date night kind of inspiration, something to add to the menu to spice things up. And if you would like to spice things up in your very own kitchen with this pancake lasagna, simply head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. I cannot wait to have a taste of this. Yum, guys.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Elite quality, elite taste, elite texture.
Made with love by Clover.